On a stormy night in a remote village, a sprawling villa stood ominously, harboring a dreadful secret. This villa, once a beacon of grandeur and opulence, now stood as an eerie monument, its grandiosity replaced by an unsettling silence. Let's step back in time and peel back the layers of this villa's chilling history. It was once home to a wealthy landlord and his family. The family, known for their affluence and generosity, were the pride of the village. Yet their prosperous life was only a facade that concealed a far more sinister reality. Surreal occurrences began to taint the villa's gilded reputation. Whispers of strange noises in the dead of night, shadows that moved with a life of their own, and a cold that seeped into the bones pervaded the village lore. The villagers, once frequent visitors, now gave the villa a wide berth, their welcoming smiles replaced by fearful glances. Then came the incident that shook the very core of the village. The family, once so full of life and laughter, suddenly vanished without a trace. The once bustling villa was left deserted, its empty halls echoing with the silence of its lost inhabitants. The villagers searched high and low, but the family was never found, deepening the mystery of the villa. The villa's eerie reputation grew. Tales of its haunted halls spread far and wide, chilling the spines of those who heard them. Each passing day added to the villa's dreaded legacy, its once magnificent architecture now a grim reminder of the unseen terror it harbored. And so the villa stood, a ghostly silhouette against the stormy night. Its dark windows stared blankly at the village, as if daring anyone to uncover its secrets. The once vibrant laughter and cheerful chatter were replaced by an oppressive silence, broken only by the occasional howl of the wind. As the night deepened, the villa, shrouded in darkness, seemed to come alive with whispers of its dreadful past. This, dear friends, is just the beginning of our tale. The unseen terror of this villa is far from over. The night is young, and the villa's darkest secrets are yet to be revealed. Unaware of the villa's chilling past, a new family moved in, drawn by its old-world charm. A family of 5, the Sharmas, were the villa's newest inhabitants. The patriarch, Ravi, was a historian, drawn to the villa's architectural beauty and its stories waiting to be unraveled. His wife, Meera, a homemaker, was taken in by the lush gardens and the quaint charm of the place. Their 3 children, 2 teenagers and a toddler, were excited about the adventures this new place promised. As they settled in, their initial days were filled with laughter and joy. The villa echoed with the sounds of their chatter and the patter of the toddlers' tiny feet. The enchanting aura of the villa seemed to wrap them in a warm embrace. However, it didn't take long for the first signs of something strange to creep in. It started subtly with fleeting shadows at the corner of their eyes, unexplained noises in the dead of the night, and objects, small at first, moving on their own. The children's toys would often be found in places where they hadn't left them. The family brushed these incidents off as pranks played by the kids, or blamed it on the wind and their overactive imaginations. But as the days passed, these occurrences became more frequent and harder to ignore. One evening, a family portrait hanging in the living room inexplicably fell off the wall. Another night, they were awakened by the sound of a piano playing when there was no one in the music room. The family dog, who was usually calm, became restless and started barking at empty spaces. Despite the growing unease, the family tried to rationalize these events. The villa was old, they told themselves, and old houses often had their quirks. Yet deep down they couldn't shake off the feeling of being watched, of being in the presence of something unseen. As days turned into weeks, the family began to sense that they were not alone in the villa. The once captivating charm of the villa was slowly turning into an eerie dread, leaving them to wonder what secrets their new home was hiding. One night, the youngest child claimed to see a figure lurking in the shadows, the first tangible evidence of the unseen terror. Thus began an eerie journey into the realm of the inexplicable. The child described the spectral figure as an ethereal presence, both frightening and intriguing. Its mere whispers were enough to send a chill down the spine, its gaze cold enough to freeze the blood in one's veins. The family, initially dismissive, began to take note when the child's sleep became restless and his days filled with anxiety. A healthy skepticism gave way to a quiet, gnawing fear. They tried to rationalize it, attributing it to the child's active imagination or perhaps the eerie surroundings of the old villa. But deep down, they knew there was more to this than meets the eye. The uncanny incidents began to multiply. The rustling of papers in an empty room, the echo of a sob in the dead of the night, an unexplainable chill in the air. Each occurrence, more intense than the last, began to erode their skepticism. The villa seemed to have a life of its own, its pulse beating in rhythm with the growing terror. The family's nights became a symphony of dreadful sounds, their days a labyrinth of dread. The once comforting walls of the villa now housed an unseen terror, its grim whispers echoing through the corridors. The children no longer played in the vast halls. The adults whispered in hushed tones, their faces etched with fear. The spectral figure that the child had seen was no longer a figment of his imagination. It had become their stark reality, a reality they could neither comprehend nor escape. They could no longer ignore the foreboding presence, the chilling whispers, the frightful occurrences. In the face of this escalating terror, the family made a decision. They could no longer live in fear. They had to confront it, unravel the mystery that shrouded their home. As fear gripped the family, they decided to uncover the villa's dreadful secret. The stage was set for a harrowing journey into the heart of the unknown. In their quest for answers, the family unearthed a chilling tale of betrayal and untimely death. The villa, as it turned out, was steeped in a history darker than the shadows that lurked in its corners. Once a picture of prosperity and joy, it had witnessed a gruesome turn of events that forever scarred its existence. Years ago, the villa was home to a couple deeply in love and full of dreams. However, their bliss was short-lived. Guided by greed, a close friend betrayed them, leading to the tragic demise of the couple in the very home they cherished. As their life was cruelly snatched away, their spirits, it seemed, were trapped within the old villa's walls. They were left to wander in the endless limbo of their once happy home, their anguish echoing in the eerie silence of the night. The family, piecing together the fragments of this horrifying narrative, felt a shiver run down their spines. Every creak of the floorboards, every flicker of the lights now had a sinister undertone. The villa was not just an old building, it was a monument to a horrifying past, a vessel carrying the restless souls of the couple. The details of the story were grim. The deceit, the cold-blooded murder, the entrapment of innocent souls. It was a tale that would make even the bravest hearts quiver. The villa, with its haunted past, was not just a house, it was a living, breathing entity of horror. The family's discovery was more than a revelation. It was a chilling encounter with the horrifying truth. The villa was not merely haunted, it was a purgatory, a prison for the souls trapped within. And so the villa stood as a grim reminder of its tragic past, its walls echoing the screams of the departed. Unable to bear the terror, the family fled, leaving the villa to its ghostly inhabitants. In a flurry of fear and panic, they abandoned their home, their belongings, their dreams. The villa, once filled with the laughter and warmth of a family, now echoed with chilling silence. Its grandeur turned into an eerie solitude, its walls whispering tales of the terror that once unfolded. To this day, the villa stands deserted, a chilling